Hello, everyone, and welcome to the StarCityGames.com Columbus Open Weekend. Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan are here in the booth. Nick Miller is down in the feature match area as we prepare for our semi-final matchup here between number 5 on the SCG Tour leaderboard, Caleb Scherer, against number 25 on that same leaderboard, Kevin Jones. Scherer's had one heck of a tournament. Blue Red Gift Storm is his bread and butter. He's number 1 overall seed, and it really can't surprise you too much, Patrick, because this deck's great, and he's real good with it.
And not to look too far ahead here, but potentially in the finals, we could have Caleb squaring off against Dylan Donegan. And watching Caleb play against Grixis Death Shadow, I think, has the potential to be fascinating because of his success in the matchup, in spite of it on paper seeming very bad.
We're going to head back over to Caleb. He'll just play an island past the turn back. So no cost reducer, no cantrip. Makes you wonder how good Caleb's hand is right now, doesn't it?
Well, he also might be just setting up for a longer game. I mean, are you going to cast an Electromancer or a Baral against a deck with a bunch of bolts? Or are you trying to set up one turn? Are you trying to do something with the Remand backup?
How about just a couple of ops to find specific cards? Opt, a huge boon for this deck.
16 copies of Serum Vision in the top 4. For all you people who constantly complain about how many cantrips are in the top 8, like that's some indicator of the health of the format.
Plenty of Serum Vision.
A sop for you people.
There are plenty out there.
I genuinely hope you're happy.
Yeah. Maybe, actually, I don't have any desire to play either one of these decks at the Pro Tour. Serum Visions and me, that's not really, nope, that's not my thing. It's just not my thing. My thing is making your Serum Visions cost 2. Thalia, that's my thing.
Or turning all of your steam vents into mountains.
Also my thing. This, speaking of Serum Visions, is another one here from Kevin Jones. Spell Snare, Snapcaster Mage, that's what he's looking at on the scry. He'll split the difference, one on top, one on bottom. Didn't get a great look on which he put where, but we'll find out soon enough when he draws a card. It's an island. And a passing of the turn from Jones. For Caleb, he'll draw. The Storm Aficionado. Can he get by the Jeskai deck? And he'll just pass. Kevin with Negate in hand and Logic Knot. He'll draw a card. Found Spell Snare. That is a good card here, as Kevin's going to take 2 from the Sacred Foundry, fall down to 16. Keep in mind, Spell Snare counters Baral, counters Goblin Electromancer, counters Pyretic Ritual, counters Desperate Ritual, and also counters Manamorphose. There's Spire Bluff Canal. I'm curious if Kevin has any interest in going to maybe Snapcaster Mage's Ambush Viper.
Trying to get a little beat down on.
Yeah, we could also see Cryptic Command here.
Yeah, I don't mind bounce the Spire Bluff Canal and draw. You kind of want to make sure, as good as Cryptic Command seems, the premium in this kind of matchup is really on your cheap interaction. Because given enough time, Caleb's going to be able to build a pan that goes off over the top of one counterspell. Even just a Remand, and the Cryptic Command is not worth anything. So cycling the Electrolyze is probably a little bit better than cycling the Cryptic Command because the Cryptic Command has more value. But it's, I think, important not to overvalue the expensive cards. Jones really should be putting a premium on the Spell Snares, the Logic Knots, those sort of counters.
Electrolyze on the stack here, targeting Caleb. Caleb is going to Gifts in response. And that will resolve.
And that's a really good spot here for Scherer to resolve that.
Now the question is, what is he going to find?
This is unlikely to be a Gifts that is about going off. It wouldn't surprise me if this was something like another copy of Gifts Ungiven and a couple cantrips even.
Just to find more goodies?
Yeah, just the game's going to go on for a long time and he needs to build up a hand that can play over the top of a counterspell or two. So why get a bunch of rituals and try to go for it when you could just say, all right, I'll get, how about Gifts, Remand?
Ooh, what's this?
Noxus Revival.
Okay.
Remand.
Desperate Ritual, Grape Shot.
So this suggests a pass to try to go off that involves not using Past in Flames, but rather just playing some spells, playing your Grape Shot and recurring it through Noxus Revival and Remand. So the way that you cut off the graveyard is by giving him the cards that Jones has given him. The problem is that this is in terms of just like what are the best cards for Scherer to have in his hand, it's the 2 he got. So this puts Scherer more in the position of having to go off via Past in Flames, but his hand has gotten substantially better as a result.
He'll draw a card with Electrolyze, will Kevin. Path to Exile is what he's found. Not great, but not terrible. It is a 1-mana piece of interaction. Yeah, Caleb needs to discard Desperate Ritual, pass the turn back. And back to Jones we go. He is, let's see if he's found land number 5. The more mana, the better, of course. He'll discard Lightning Helix, pass the turn back. So mana is a bit of an issue. Can probably only cast 2 counter spells at once in the same turn, which is a little problematic, as Caleb will play Spiral Bluff Canal, and he says, keep going.
Yeah, I think that Jones really needs to consider cycling this Cryptic command. 1 Cryptic is just not going to get it done against 7 cards.
No,
You've got
no chance.
I think a Cryptic also makes Scherer discard a hand size, which is a nice little bonus.
Here's Snapcaster Mage. Okay, maybe get a little pressure going. This plus Helix.
Sure. He's got to spend his mana on something. He can't
just untap again.
Right.
Yeah. Or I would say untap, assuming he taps something, but you understand what I mean. All right. Jones going to untap. 15-19 the score. Kevin will draw. There's land 5. Here's a hit for 2.
Land 5, very important. I mean, Jones needs to be making his land drops regardless, but now he has Spell Snare plus Cryptic.
Or Spell Snare plus Negate plus Logic Knot.
Right.
Hold on. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 blue. Pretty close to that. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens.
Let's get our cards on the table.
Mm-hmm. You're going to tap that island. You better be sure. If you get anything wrong here, chances of you dying real high. We're all Chief of Compliance on the stack. Spell Snare.
Attention Magic players, early altars and England Customs will be packing up shortly. If you have any last-minute commissions ideas or would like to purchase something, now would be the time to do so.
Probably going to see a Remand targeting Baral. Yep.
And Scherer knows Jones has a finite number of relevant cards in his deck. Every time that you get one of the counter spells out of Jones without it amounting to anything is a huge win.
Negate or Logic Knot for Kevin? Logic Knot targeting Remand. He'll bin his whole graveyard. I assume it's more than 3.
Well, this is a Logic Knot for 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Scherer could play over the top with a Ritual here if he wanted to.
That's in play. Kevin going to be helping out.
Sort of.
Yep. Here, there we. Yeah, that's. Yep. There we go. There it is. Yeah, let's turn that way. There you go. See, you get it at home. Now you get it. Pyretic Ritual might be going on the stack, might be going on the stack. Yep. You said this, let him play over the top. And Caleb really wants that Remand to resolve.
Yep, this is just a small battle he gets to pick, and if he loses it, he doesn't care, and if he wins, that's great.
Well, I'm curious how much further he wants to go. He doesn't have a lot of cards in his hand. So he's going to pay the 4 from Logic Knot. Okay. Now Remand's on the stack targeting Baral. Negate it. Fine. Spell Snare. Fine. Stack clear.
And didn't work out that badly there for sure because he's exhausted a lot of Jones's cheaper interaction. Next time he's going to play through just one Cryptic Command now that he's down his 2 mana and 1 mana counters.
All right, Caleb, time to draw. Metamorphose. Blue and red it appears. Find a copy of Serum Visions. How about a Serum Visions? Red floating. Draw. Metamorphose. Scry 1, Scry 2, Desperate Ritual, Sleight of Hand.
And now we've reached this point where Scherer might be able to win this game kind of manual style with Pass in Flames. Doesn't even need a reducer at this point.
Is Caleb going to keep going here? This is interesting.
Well, he knows there's a Sleight of Hand on top of his deck, so
yeah,
he's drawing 2 Pass in Flames. And Pass in Flames, even if he doesn't win the game this turn, requires 2 more counterspells.
Draw a card. Sleight of Hand. Let's take a look at 2 of them. Metamorphose. Serum Visions. Hey, he wants them both. Trust me. He'll take Serum Visions, though. And Serum Visions. Spell 5. Draw. Pyretic Ritual. Hit. Hit. Opt on top.
You can see he's just burning through the mana. He's got plenty to work with, plenty in his graveyard, only looking for cantrips.
But he's dead-ended this turn. Pass. We'll go back over to Jones, who drew a copy of Secure the Waste.
Secure is a great draw here.
Yep.
You can pass with Cryptic up, and if Scherer doesn't make him go for it, or make him a counter rather, he can really turn up the pressure.
Here's an opt. Scry to the bottom. Draw. Sleight hand.
Redraw.
Hit 1. Hit 2. Sleight of hand. And redraw. 1, 2. Brawls, plural. But again, nowhere to really go.
Baral is not bad here just as a blocker, though.
It's fine. I don't hate it. I want it to go towards my spell count, though.
Well, I don't know how much the spell count matters here, because I think this game takes like 1 or 2 tacks. One is he doesn't find Pass in Flames, and he's not going to have enough regardless. Or if he finds Pass in Flames, it's so overwhelming. I mean, he's going to be able to Ritual a million times, Metamorphose to churn things into blue, cantrip through his whole deck. He won't be bottlenecked on the Storm count.
Secure the Waste is the nuts right now.
Yeah,
It is really, really good.
Perfect.
Allowed Kevin to keep up appearances while adding to his clock. So 4 warrior tokens we made. Maybe that's why Nikolic put it in his deck. It does continue to look really good.
Yep. I don't think you can play any past the first copy, but the 1 has been good so far.
Cryptic Path for Kevin Jones. Draw a card. Steam Vents. I actually think it's 3 Cryptics in a Path. Yep. And for 6, puts you to 3. Pressure's on now. Decisions here for Kevin Jones. He's very close to stealing game number 1. A game we did not think he'd be able to steal. There's Steam Vents down to 17. Electromancer. Let's start with Baral, shall we? Okie dokie. Jones wants to see what's in the graveyard. Keep in mind, Pass in Flames has not shown up yet this game. Curious if Jones wants to fight here. Looks like he does not. Electromancer. Does Kevin want to do anything here? He'll path. Okay.
It's interesting because the second reducer really doesn't do anything to the first one. The deck has a lot of 2-mana rituals. So once you have one reducer in play, it's not facilitating anything on the second one isn't really facilitating anything.
Ooh, response pyretic ritual. 4 spells in the stack at this point. Didn't think Kevin would fight over that one, so Pyretic Ritual's going to resolve 3 red floating here for Caleb. Path's good.
I'm interested by. So can you choose not to search with path, or do you have to search and shuffle regardless?
You don't have to search.
Yeah, Caleb has scried so much
lot
trash to the bottom.
Yeah, that's true.
That yeah, I think my preference there would be just to not find any lands.
Yeah, that's actually.
He's put like 8 rituals on the bottom of his deck, and right now he's only looking for Past in Flames and cantrips.
That's a really good point.
So far this turn, how many spells have been cast? We have
4. This is 5.
So we can clear out everything here.
No. You can at least try.
The path, the 2 reducers, and the pyretic ritual.
Mm-hmm. Bzzz. Grave Shot, Storm 5. Kevin, 3 cryptics. Let's see if he wants to use 1. Could do something unique like bouncing his own Snapcaster Mage. Or he could just let all of his toys die and leave his cryptic command up just in case, which is what he's going to do. End step, Cryptos. Bounce draw.
Trying to find a bolt to finish this one out, perhaps.
Found it. Draw. Thought, yeah, he's got upkeep. That's tight play, actually. Just, I mean, he can do it whenever he wants, but, he's just playing correctly, which he should do it on his opponent's upkeep. So Kevin Jones going to win game number 1 here over Caleb Scherer. Jeskai Control up a game over Blue-Red Giftstorm. Caleb couldn't find it. Needed Past in Flames, never found it. So we played a longer game. It feels like Kevin may have stolen one here. But as we prepare to get ready for our sideboarded games, in which Caleb Scherer will be on the play and both players will be taking a look at each other's sideboards, we first, of course, need to hear a few messages from our sponsors. Rylan Tyler is who we're going to watch here with Blue White Control. Tom off to a good start here with a Noble Hierarch. An island there from Tyler as we go over to Zibos.
And I think this should be a pretty good matchup.
We are back, everybody. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan here in the booth, getting ready for game number 2 between Caleb Scherer, Kevin Jones. That's Blue-Red Giftstorm against Jeskai Control, and a little bit of a surprise here, but Caleb Scherer will be on the play here for game number 2. With his 4 pieces of the puzzle, 3 Lightning Bolts, 2 Empty the Warrens, 2 Shattering Sprees, a Dispel, an Echoing Truth, a Giga Drowse, and a Wipe Away. He's got some goodies here, Patrick.
Yeah, he can bring in the 4 copies of pieces of the puzzle and just try to play a longer game, more of an attrition game, and try to grind Jones down that way. I think, the Empty the Warrens, I could take relief. Jones has some answers to it, but also requires a lot less work out of Scherer to generate a lethal storm count off of that card. And I think the Dispel and the Giga Draus are really well suited for battling over counterspells.
Other side of things here for Kevin Jones. He's got 3 Dispel, 2 Celestial Purge, 2 Ruined Halo, 2 Vendilion Click. An Engineered Explosives, a D-Sphere, a Negate, and Elspeth Sun's Champion that helped him win his quarterfinals matchup, but not so good here, along with Supreme Product and a Wear Commetaire.
So you have the 3 copies of Dispel and the 2 Vendilion Clicks. I think those are very easy to bring in. Past that, the question is, how much do you want to hedge your bets against Empty the Warrens? You can bring in some cards like Detention Sphere and Engineered Explosives, which have value against Empty the Warrens and also work against the Reducers, should that come up. And then you have something like Supreme Verdict, which is much more narrow. It's not an efficient answer to the Reducers at all, but it is good against Empty the Warrens. How much of that he wants in his deck is complicated.
Well, he's going to have to figure it out, and he's a guy who's been playing this kind of deck for a long time, is Kevin Jones. The 30-year-old from Kingstown, New York. 12 open top 8s, 2 wins. Invitational top 8s, none just yet, but I have to imagine we'll see one here for the daddy eventually. He played college tennis at Pace University as a walk-on after teaching himself the game. He won the Eternal Weekend Legacy Championship a couple years ago with Blue Red Delver. He loves reading. Reads at least one mystery novel every week, and if you didn't know this, you do know this now. The daddy rides alone.
He does.
He rides alone.
And a great conversationalist.
Indeed he is Kevin Jones, the 30-year-old from Kingston, New York, who I imagine drove here by himself from the New York area.
Driving back alone.
And he'll be driving back alone.
Maybe a trophy in the passenger seat.
Indeed. Indeed.
The only company he'll accept.
He's a character like you wouldn't believe. Trust me. What?
I say this without a trace of irony or sarcasm, that my life is absolutely better getting to know Kevin Jones.
Oh, I could not agree more.
No question about it.
I could not agree more. Doing this job, I've met some truly fantastic people over the past almost 6 years.
A lot of you
doing
people, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
We're being honest. Kevin, he's definitely.
Take it every time.
Take it every time.
Take it every time. Didn't see him all weekend until he came over for his top 8 phone, and what did he do? He dabbed right in front of me. That's right.
So for a lot of competitive players, this is a part of it. For a lot of competitive players, the framework is seeing Magic as a path to playing the game professionally or somehow sustaining your life. It does come down to material concerns at the end of it. Kevin, he appreciates the money when he does well in events for sure, but Kevin just loves Magic and he loves the adventures.
Yep.
And even if he doesn't get wealthy doing this, he is very happy with the life that he's chosen. And it's easy to, sometimes get a little sour on it, the lifestyle of traveling all around and trying to make ends meet through these tournaments. And certainly I know a lot of people, I was there once upon a time.
You're sitting next to one.
You're sitting next to one. I know a lot of people who still play in events who are in that framework. And Kevin earnestly just loves playing the game, loves traveling to events, has no ambitions necessarily of getting rich or famous doing this, and he is totally at peace.
Yeah.
And that is a rare thing.
And you know what? He's gotten pretty damn good at it, too.
Yes.
He really has. It's been fun to watch over the past 3 or 4 years. He's going to send that hand back. See if Caleb is happy with his 7 cards. Caleb no slouch either, that's for sure.
No.
A lot of accomplishments on his resume, and hey, still could win this tournament too, though he is down a game.
Pro Tour coming up.
Oh yeah.
This has got to feel good, being in the spot with an event that large coming up very soon.
Just
for imagine that the same deck.
You think? It would be a weird time for him to bail off a Storm.
Right.
3 weeks from now when he heads to Bilbao. I don't think it's the right tournament for it. Well, you don't have any other choice, man. You don't have any other choice. Tell you what, you definitely got to be cognizant of Jeskai now coming in that tournament, and Dallas in 2 weeks. This is an impressive performance for this particular build of Jeskai Control.
For me, the big one here is Lantern. Basically not present in this tournament.
Yeah.
And I would not expect that to be the case at the Pro Tour.
I agree. Trust me, I agree. I think that deck will be there. Jones will scribe at the top. Caleb Scherer, start us off. Steam Vents tapped. Kevin Jones. He'll play himself a Flooded Strand. Let's go back over to Caleb. Caleb, is it time for a little cantripping? It is a Serum Visions. He'll draw a card and scry 2 here. While he does that, I want to let you know that our backup match, if we have time to jump that way, between Benjamin Nikolic and Dylan Donegan, we will, but they are in game number 3. It's all even. Don't forget, Donegan's got those Lingering Souls after sideboard. Crucial to him beating Benjamin Nikolic earlier this weekend. As Caleb will play a Shivan Reef, pass the turn back. Jones will sacrifice Flooded Strand. Fall down to 19, of course, and we'll see exactly which land El Papi would like to get in Steam Vents. There's only one Kevin Jones. And if there were 2, my goodness.
It'd be 1 too many.
Yeah.
I like my life having exactly 1. I do not want 0.
Yep.
I don't want 2. I want the 1.
I agree. Kevin with a Glacial Fortress. Pass that turn back. Denial in there for Caleb. And he'll pass over to Kev. Kev will draw. Picked up a Logic Knot. Another slow start here for Caleb. Not that it has to be a fast start, of course.
But you would have liked to see maybe pieces of the puzzle or some such that turn.
Here's an opt. He's going to keep that one. Time to untap and draw. For the St. Louis, Missouri native. He'll just pass a turn. No 4th land. Jones will sacrifice.
Interesting to scry to the top and then miss a land drop.
Mm-hmm. I assume he's got a plan. Going to give the Storm player, the best Storm player in the SCG Tour, the benefit of the doubt, that's for sure. Kevin going to search up a Steam Vents there with his Flooded Trance. He falls down to 18. Time for Kev to draw. Thinking Scalding Tarn. Might be going Glacial Fortress or Hallowed Fountain now. There is Serum Visions. It's good. He'll draw. Let's scry 2. Hit 1 and 2. Give it a little thought, will KJ.
Do you know anyone who enjoys scrying more than Kevin Jones?
Absolutely
Just contemplating life's mysteries?
No.
Looking at a land and a spell and just thinking about.
Were you the one? Were the ones who covered his match against Tron, where he just like cantrip, and then just died?
And he was just couldn't be happier.
Yeah, just Serum Visions, opt, Serum Visions, sleight of hand,
All right, my land's dead, my land's dead, my land's dead.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like I'll play a card. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, all right, Wormcoil hits me. Fine, I take. She gains 6, I take 6. Play Temple of Mystery or whatever.
Just could not have been happier.
Looking at things, touching his cards.
Cards are moving from different zones.
Right.
None of them do anything.
Right.
None of them do anything. That's Kevin Jones in a nutshell. He's got 5 lands now on the battlefield. Caleb with his 4. So we head back his way.
As an old colleague of mine once said, I just like to see the chips move around the table.
Manamorphose. Is it time? It's 5 open mana. Shivan Reef. It is not time. Okay. Back to Kevin. I like how the counters come out. Sweep them away. Sweep them away. Later.
Let him off the hook.
Kevin with his Serum Visions.
Oh, yeah. He gets to go through his deck, find the land that he wants.
Shuffle
his deck. Draw a card. Look at that card in the context of the rest of his hand. Then look at the top 2 cards of his deck and decide which ones he wants to draw, if any at all, and if both, in what order. How How much happiness can one person experience?
You drew like a cryptic command?
In this life, it's so important to do what you love.
That's true. It's really true. You only have so much time, so
Yeah.
do the things that you truly enjoy.
Right.
And if that's casting Serum Visions and then dying 3 turns later, that's fine. That's fine.
I got to watch the chips move around the table a little bit at least.
Oh boy. Hello.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. So this is this cannot be countered by a single thing.
Yeah.
So now,
There's some dealing click.
okay,
Oh, okay.
all right, that's a playback.
Replicated mechanic, I don't know if we'll ever see again. But when you play this spell, copy it for each time you paid its replicate cost. You may choose new targets for the copies.
Yeah, replicate's a tough one because there are a lot of spells that are fun to cast once that are not fun to cast 7 times at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually most of them.
Yeah.
So the design space isn't that fruitful.
Yeah.
As far as what are these that show up in constructed at this point, this and Shattering Spree, I guess, are the big ones.
Yeah. Grape Shot's going to go to the bottom. Gigadross Resolve is going to tap him out. Dealing click here, you see, it's going to reveal Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual ×2. Baral and Remand, a new card coming here, sleight of hand. I mean, this is the opportunity. This is the window.
Yeah. Shields are down. The 1 Gigadross on the sideboard seems like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Especially with Jones. He's taking a position here in a lot of spots of just leaning on Cryptic Command, and Gigadross is really good against Cryptic Command.
Metamorphose and Sleight of Hand are the newest cards added to Caleb's hand, so we're going to see him lead off with Brawl. And let's see the fun begin. Pyretic.
Get me my dice.
Yeah. Give me. That's me on the storm counter, so get that, and I want my counters.
Fetch my dice.
Yeah, it's like an assistant at work.
Right.
What people don't know is Caleb is probably the nicest person on earth.
Oh yeah, he's yeah. Yes.
But get me my dice, please. I must go to work now. Sleight of hand. That's a Remand and a Desperate Ritual. Remand's going to go to the hand.
Metamorphose is a big one to have here too because Caleb could really use an extra card, and he would also really like to flip some of his red mana into blue so he can cantrip and leave Remand up.
Here's Desperate Ritual spliced onto Desperate Ritual. So 0 mana floating. There you go. The question now is, does Kevin have Path or Spell Snare or not? Those are the interaction
I
cards.
believe Dispel is the piece that he
Okay,
has.
that also counts. He does have a Dispel. He's trying to figure out what to dispel.
I think with Caleb now having the Remand in hand, he can play over the top of one piece.
He can. Kevin says that's fine. Metamorphose. That's fine. 2 blue on the way. Yep. Draw a card from Metamorphose. Maybe the goal is to counter Gifts Ungiven. Here's Opt. Caleb will go up to 6 spells. Scry 1.
I mean, Kevin can't, he's saying he can't pick the fight over the incremental stuff. He's going to save it for this, I'm sure.
Found it. Here's Desperate Ritual. Spell 7.
And Caleb has more than enough to work out of the graveyard here.
Oh, you think so?
Should these gifts resolve, then we're all done.
Yeah. Should be. Kev's got a Dispel. It's no good, folks. Here's Gifts. 5 red floating. Make your move. Dispel. So no. There's Remand. You know what? You can keep that for later.
Yeah. Don't worry, next turn.
Mm-hmm. There's a mill off of Baral, of course, because of the counter. Yeah.
I was about to say.
Don't worry. I'm on it. I'm on it. Baral's got some extra text.
Yeah, we're all done here.
Yeah.
And if it's any consolation to Kevin Jones, or I like the concession. Good
Me
job. If there's any consolation there, there was no point to stop that.
Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't do anything.
Right.
He could not do anything.
Yeah, the remand covered it at every step of the way.
So Caleb Scherer able to work through some counter magic off the back of that Singleton Giga Drowse. Every slot in your sideboard counts, folks, and that's a example of that. As he ties things up against Kevin Jones and the Just Got Control deck. Kevin will be on the play here for game number 3. But first, messages from our sponsors.
Go.
Game 3 about to be on the way. Kevin's gone. Okay. Kevin's gone.
Rides alone.
Yep, He does ride alone. Truer words never been spoken about Kevin Jones. He certainly rides alone. Ah, boy. Any changes here to the sideboard? Anything stand out to you?
No. I mean, the game went pretty deep there, and Scherer did not show empty the Warrens. So maybe if you, on Kevin's side, if you took some measures to play around that, and you don't like the cards otherwise, maybe you do a little bit of shaving there. But nah, I think it's about the same.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's talk about Caleb, shall we? Until Kevin gets done riding alone. 29-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri is Caleb Scherer. He's got 6 open top 8s. Let's make it 7 when we update the graphic a little bit later this week. Along with 2 envy top 8s and that win in Vegas a couple of years ago. He lives out of his backpack. Flip-flops. Boo. You pro flip-flops?
No.
I can't imagine. I actually
No, of course not.
I actually can't imagine you wearing flip-flops. I don't even know why I asked. Has 2 best cats in the world, Wilton Rose. What was your cat's name?
Sergeant Whiskers?
Yeah, how does Sergeant Whiskers feel about this?
Sergeant Whiskers, Sergeant Whiskers was actually kind of a crappy cat. I have some affection because, you have affection for your animals, or you're supposed to, I guess. But
why was Sergeant Whiskers a crappy cat?
I don't know, he just knocked all my stuff down, never wanted to snuggle. Just he had some litter box related issues.
Okay.
He's a bad cat.
All right, fair enough.
But he was my cat. So
that's true. Sergeant Whiskers.
And his problems are probably my problems, It's not fair, you live with it. It's all interconnected.
You want to do the Season 1 schedule real quick with me?
Sure, let's take a look.
Beautiful. Season 2 Invitational was won by Ely Cassis back at the early stages of December. Congratulations to him. That token will be on the way. We're here in Columbus, going to crown a champion soon enough. And then Dallas for a little team action in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and the weekend after, another team event in Philly. And then Indianapolis, February 17th and 18th will be Modern. March will give us Legacy in Worcester, Modern in Dallas, a team open in Cincinnati. Then we move to April. Milwaukee will be Modern. Teams in Atlanta. Baltimore will be team at the beginning of May. Modern in Louisville and Minneapolis in back-to-back weekends. Then the regional championships June 2nd. And then after that, the Season 1 Invitational, June 8th through the 10th. Modern and standard as the Invitational formats.
We do have some play mats. See if we can get those up. Oh, hey, Hostage Taker. How are you for our standard open and classic players? What's going on in the Modern? They get a little Oblivion Stone.
Ayo pile.
Kaboom. Yeah. Kaboom. And with Oblivion Stone. And then for Legacy, it'll be Doomsday free. You get that free FREE exclusive play mats with entry into any 2018 Season 1 Open or Classic here on the SCG Tour during Season Numero Uno. Back to our match we go. Hello, Caleb. Hello, Kevin. Celestial Colonnade is Kevin's start. We'll be finishing up. Let's move it along, gentlemen. You can give him the green light to keep playing. And we'll see what Caleb's first turn will be here in just a moment. Just a Spiral of Canal, no cantrip, and maybe an up on the end step. We'll see.
Attention Magic players. Many of you came here with things this weekend, and some of you do not have all of your things that you brought with you or received this weekend.
Scalding Tarn there for KJ.
Just to consider what land he wants to go get, if any, what cantrip he wants to cast, if any, and then so many decisions fall out of those decisions.
This is a last call for the guy.
Guy's out here having the time of his life, huh?
Yeah.
Tell you what. All for the world to see. Steam vents tapped. Just kidding.
It's decisions.
It's decisions, yeah. Nah, a healthy shuffle. Yo, back in the day, I did used to enjoy blue cards.
I was there too.
Yeah.
Magpile.
There was a time.
My first PTQ win involved the cards Repulse and Exclude.
Gross. Must have been really tough.
Well, everyone else had them too.
That's true.
It wasn't like I was the only one in the room.
That's true.
Prophetic Bolt.
Powerful.
Gainsay.
Reprint that thing.
Prophetic Bolt?
Yeah.
Prophetic Bolt's a sweet design.
Yeah, reprint that card. Serum Visions. Scry 2? Oh, both on top. Hello. We'll go over to Caleb now. Opt. Scry 1. Keeper. Untapping. He's drawing. Serum Visions. That's where I'll start. Draw a card. Picked up Grape Shot. Hit 1 and 2. Passed in Flames among those cards. There's Steam Vents. Let's go back over to Kevin, shall we? Kevin will draw his card for the turn. And he'll play a Colonnade and pass that turn back. While we head over to Caleb, I can't tell you who's in the finals. The winner of this match is going to go against Benjamin Nikolic. Won his match over Dylan Notting at 2-1. The Lingering Souls were not enough this go around. And just got control. It could be a mirror in the finals. And a very similar deck list between the two of them. Further establishing this deck as the real deal. Over to Caleb we go.
Ooh, and Caleb has the Giga Dress again.
Kevin better keep some fetch lands up, I'll tell you that much. Jones' hand's a little clunky. Little clunker. Caleb not in that much of a rush. Helix on Caleb's end step.
Yeah, I think Scherer announced discard to hand size.
Goodbye, Passing Flames. Not a bad place for that. We'll go back to Kevin. Steam Vents the draw. Can't be afraid to play that one untapped. Okay.
Yeah, you know, there's some considerations for Grape Shot of trying to preserve your life total a little bit, but I think just playing around Giga Draws crowds out all their considerations.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Giga Draws your 4 lands.
Well, let's see what you can do with 1 mana.
Yeah. It's not good. Logic Knot's going to take care of 1 copy of Giga Draws so that the Steam Vents can stay untapped and Kevin can keep up appearances here, more or less.
Well, this allows him, I think he has Snare plus Bolt.
That's pretty good, actually,
So
if that's the case. All right. I see Bolt. I might see Snare. I do see Snare. All right, you're dead on with it.
yeah, and I mean, this is a really, a strong representation of having, I suppose it could also be Negate would justify that play. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 pieces.
Well, Caleb says it's go time. Brawl, Chief of Compliance. That's step 1.
It's risky to let this resolve because if you open up on a Bolt, let's say, and he gets to remand you on your 1 spell, even with 2 pieces of interaction, might not be good enough.
Well, it did resolve. This is a Lightning Bolt. Response. Metamorphose. Four spells on the stack. Excuse me, 4 spells being played this turn, 3 on the stack.
You may not get to snare anything else.
Yeah, that might be the best he can do.
You can at least hope. So if Caleb doesn't have access to blue mana, it is problematic for him to try to go off without Baral.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you let the Metamorphosis resolve, he can go, all right, I'll make blue X, and then he has the ability to cantrip. He has the ability to play another reducer and try to go again. So it puts him at having 3 mana here.
Yeah, just 3 red at this point. He's probably dead-ended now.
I think so.
The thing about Caleb's hand, though, is he can very easily rebuild.
And he's got Passing Flames in the graveyard.
Yep. And you can see how Kevin has to hedge in the matchup. Take a look at his hand right now. He's got Supreme Verdict.
Right.
And it's not really about that right now. He's got Sphinx Revelation. It's not really about that right now. And Rev isn't particularly good. And then the other card I don't have a great look at. Just going to pass the turn back. I think it's a Logic Knot, which is fine.
Yeah.
Go to Kev. Hollowed Fountain the draw. Untapped. He wants the mana. Means he can rev for 3. Let's go over to Caleb. Maybe it's time for some pieces to some puzzles. Let's start with a slight. Take a look at 2. Metamorphosis 1, slights the other. He wants slight. Do it again. Empty.
Oh, does have empty.
And Steam, or Shivan Reef, not Steam Fence. Goodbye, empty. Shivan Reef. Pieces of the puzzle. Logic Knot's going to counter that. Kevin said, I cannot let that resolve. Sorry. Okay. Pass.
Well, now the shields are down. I thought that would be an okay spot to rev for 3 and then try to fight the following turn.
After letting pieces resolve?
If you had another piece of interaction in your hand, another counterspell, but now there's a clean turn for Caleb here where you have nothing in your hand and he's got Passing Flames in the graveyard.
Mm-hmm. You drew another copy of Pieces of the Puzzle.
Yeah, it's tough to fight over the small pieces like this if you don't have them under any pressure.
Kevin gonna sacrifice his copy of Flooded Strand. Basic Island is what he's found.
I suppose the other side of it is he just wants to rev for as much as possible because it's not like his position is a hammerlock by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So spend your mana that turn. Hopefully Caleb can't go up the following turn and you have the opportunity maybe to rev for an extra card. I buy that.
There's Rev. Verdict of the leftover card. Kev's just trying to decide how much to do it for. Full amount, maybe. Nope. For 3.
I let it rip for the full.
Yeah, just hope I don't die.
Again, his position isn't so good that you can afford to be down a card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, I think it's hard for Caleb to go off this turn.
I think
He's
it's
committed
extremely hard.
He's committed 3 mana. You know?
I think it's extremely hard for Caleb to go off this turn. Plus, also, this is a sorcery.
Right.
So
you're not drawing to dispel.
You're not drawing to dispel. Yeah. So I think you just want all 4. You cross your fingers. You hope you don't die. The chance. I mean, sure, he could find a bolt, I guess, but I don't even want to find a bolt off of this.
What are the odds that Caleb goes land, reducer,
ritual, and nuts,
and you drew a bolt? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think every card counts right now.
I want to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to eat.
5 cards, empty, desperate ritual. Pieces of the puzzle, remand, island. That's what Caleb will be choosing. He gets 2 of these, of course.
I don't know if Caleb can't win the game this turn, which seems like asking a fair bit. You know, you can just keep eating here. You know, you take, for example, Desperate Ritual and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep loading up. Still have Past in Flames in the graveyard the whole way through.
Yep. And again, I think it's a situation where sure he's out of it. He doesn't have his Giga Drowse anymore, but he can still work totally fine right now.
Yes.
Back to KJ. He'll draw. Scalding Tarn is here. His turn is simple. To Caleb we go. He'll draw. Spire Bluff Canal. It'll enter the battlefield tapped if he likes to play it. Yep. Pass it over.
I like Caleb being just so patient here. Not in a rush.
Nope.
He knows he can play a deeper game in the post-board games. He also knows, I think, that Kevin can't interact with the Past in Flames in the graveyard. That's safe. He's not under any pressure to do anything because of a surgical extraction or some such.
Yeah.
Magic players, this is
Kick
a
it over.
last call for playbacks. If you have a voucher and you would like to redeem
Serum Vision's a draw here for Caleb. See if he wants to get some cantripping done.
for either of these classics, please come to the left side of the event stage to receive those playbacks.
Yep. Draw card.
It's like a wipe away.
He's got one on his board.
Yep.
He'll sacrifice Flooded Strain. Will Kevin Jones get himself a Sacred Foundry? And draw. Pass the turn back very quickly. Cryptic in hand. Access to 2 Cryptics right now as these 2 gray players go back and forth and back and forth.
At one point is Jones' side here, although now with Caleb having 2 copies of, I believe 2 copies of Grapeshot in hand, he might be able to do the manual mode kind of kill. Oh boy.
That changes things. Torrential Gearhulk has arrived. That'll actually make Caleb have to actually start getting a move on.
Yeah, I mean, if Caleb's plan here is to go off manual and just cantrip a bunch in one turn and play grape shots kind of naturally, he may not care too much about this.
There's a remand, so that'll take care of it for now. Back over to Kevin Jones, we're going to go. He'll probably try that Torrential Gearhulk again next turn if he gets the opportunity. Glacial Fortress with the draw and the play for the turn. You can see his hand with Gearhulk, Snapcaster Mage, Logic Knot.
And Caleb not cantripping. I think the plan here is just to try to just cast 15 spells in a turn.
Yeah.
And now, without any protection against the Gearhulk, now this turn might be the turn. It might be time.
Pyretic Ritual leads me to believe that that's not being cast for fun. Little feeling I have. Opt here from Caleb. He'll scry 1. That card goes to the bottom. He'll draw this one. Pyretic.
Remember, Past in Flames still in the graveyard.
The only question I have is, does Kevin remember that? And does Caleb remember that? Here's Pyretic number 2.
Caleb's on it.
Yeah, I have a feeling. I like to give him a little credit. Spell 3. We're getting desperate, are we? Huh? Uh-huh. Down to 2. Spell 4. Remember, if Grape Shot is spell 7, he's good.
Yep. And if Jones interacts here.
Oh, oh, this is a beautiful setup.
Yeah, because he can flash back the Past in Flames, and that forces a counter spell.
Well, yeah, that spell.
It's just so good.
Yeah,
It's just so good.
It is pretty good.
It's just so good. It's just so good.
It's almost like he's been doing this for literally years.
Oh, weird. He knew it was there.
Yeah. Oh, Pass and Flame, spell 6. Convenient.
Huh?
Would you like to counter this? You almost certainly cannot let this resolve.
Well, you're definitely dead.
Yeah, Logico. I don't have a great look on what's in Kevin's graveyard. Okay, he's got a Lightning Helix that Caleb actually has a care about.
Yeah. Yeah, Jones might have enough to fight through all of it.
This is interesting.
This goes up to 7.
Yeah, so 8 plus 9 is 17.
Yeah, so the Helix.
This brings him up to 18.
He can counter a copy of something at some point.
Grape Shot you. This is interesting because I actually think, legitimately, that Kevin is going to come out of this turn alive at 1 life. Grape Shot again. This is for 9. And I am going to assume that the Storm Trigger has resolved. Otherwise, this gets a little dicey.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Very specific language matters a lot here.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that the Storm Trigger has resolved already. Otherwise, again, this gets really bad for Kevin.
Because it's the Snapcaster and the Helix. There's 2 more copies. And that is spell 9 and 10. So we will know about the particulars in a moment. Is he going to cryptic command one of the copies?
Going to return Snapcaster Mage. All right, yeah, so he's going to go down to 1. Or
Okay,
2, excuse me. Either way, he's not dead. And now we play on. Where Caleb Scherer is empty-handed. And Kevin Jones has a Torrential Gearhulk in hand. And for what was a beautiful setup, the Lightning Helix in the graveyard is the card that maybe Caleb forgot about.
Well, you know, he drained. Jones needs to have a fair bit there to be able to play through. And it's not even like it's the end of the world. You can still reassemble the combo. You find a cantrip. You can see Caleb not deploying the Brawl there because he wants to save up and try to go again next turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man, because now I think Kevin, there's some options here for Kev.
But he can't gain any life.
Yeah, absolutely he can.
Oh, he can flash back the. He can Snapcaster for
yeah.
Rev.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. And that might shut the door.
Yeah.
Because unless Caleb is able to resolve a Pass in Flames, which is going to be very challenging to do,
I think it's going to be pretty tough.
I don't think he's going to have enough resources to power through this.
Kevin is going to be extra patient and go to Serum Visions, draw a card, found a negate, scry 2. We're going to have a Jeskai Finals, aren't we? Hope you weren't planning on going anywhere. And you know, Kevin, he plays so fast. No, Jeskai Mirror should be fun.
It's different.
That's true. Unexpected coming in this weekend.
Kevin just so patient here.
What's the rush?
I don't. The rush is you can die.
Fair.
That's
fair.
something.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like you're not. Again, this is not a locked up position.
What do we got here? Pieces of the puzzle. It's going to resolve.
Oh, okay. Well, now, I guess do I negate? That's the rush. It's not a check mark yet.
Yeah, if you can just close it out, you should.
Yeah, no, Kevin knows. Okay, well, if Caleb has been sandbagging like a grape shot, or he's got a cantrip to go with it, or like passing flames, like you know,
It could get bad.
it could get bad.
It could get bad. Gear Hulk? Yeah. On Cryptic, probably. Counter draw, counter bounce. Remand? Huh. This will be snap on something. Maybe Logic Knot?
Just
No,
negate it if it's Caleb's last card.
Yeah, and that is going to do it. Kevin Jones is going to win this match here over Caleb Scherer. 2 games, 2-1. Jeskai Control will take care of Blue-Red Gift Storm, and you guessed it, everybody. A Jeskai Control mirror, and I'm not sure exactly how close their deck lists are. We'll have to take a look at that in a minute, but a Jeskai Control mirror in the finals.
It's the longest modern top 8 I can ever recall calling, and we still have a match to go.
I know. Don't blame we're out of here by 6 or 7 o'clock. Players are killing each other left and right. Instead, Benjamin Nikolic has created a control deck that Kevin Jones has adopted and has copied, and now it's going to be the master in Nikolic against Kevin Jones, the now adopter, in the mirror. Unreal.
Should be fun.
It should be
Settle
fun. We have to, so you should too. When we come back, we'll go over the finals match. I guess we'll make our prediction. We'll take a look at the deck list too really quickly to see exactly how they are different, even though I don't think they're very different at all. And then we're going to watch and see if it's going to be Benjamin Nikolic or Kevin Jones winning this tournament here in Columbus. What we do know, Jeskai Control is going to win this weekend.
Yes.
So we just got to figure out who it's going to be. See you guys back here from Columbus just a bit.